Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today's video we're going to look at my fragrance collection, and in particular all the fragrances I bought in 2020. Now there's quite a few, so I'm breaking it down into two videos. This one is all the niche perfumes I bought this year, and there will be a designer video coming up very soon. Actually, I'm surprised there's not more here, but one thing to bear in mind is I have sold some stuff, and I have certainly sold some things that I've bought this year as well. So there were blind buys that I decided not to keep. So everything here I've purchased with my own money, and I have kept, whether it be blind buys or fragrances I bought because of sampling. So let's just get into it, shall we? So one of my early purchases in 2020 was Dendera by Centauri Perfumes. I don't wear this one too often because it's very dry and spicy, and it's not my usual genre. It's not particularly sweet fragrance, so I really love this. When I wear it and I'm in the right mood for it, I absolutely love it. But it's not one I reach for that often because it's not a mass appealing safe scent, because it is quite dry, very spicy, very incensey, a little bit smoky. But I really love it. When I wear it, I absolutely love it, and I adore this bottle. These aren't in chronological order because I just can't remember, and I'm not that anal that I keep a spreadsheet, and I can't be bothered to go back searching through my videos and Instagram posts to figure out stuff. So you'll get these in any old order. Hope you don't mind. The next one is Les Coquettes de Paris, and it's called La Belle Otero. So the brand is Les Coquettes de Paris, and the perfume is called La Belle Otero. Look at that. I love this bottle. It's really tall. I love the colour of the liquid, a gorgeous greeny blue colour. It's one of my favourite colours, turquoise. Reminds me of the sea if you go somewhere amazing like the Caribbean. However, this is not an inspired by the sea perfume. It's actually inspired by not exactly a prostitute, they called them a courtesan. Back in the olden days, a lady who would live off of gifts from wealthy high society men, maybe even royalty. And there was a particular lady who has inspired this, and she was known by the name La Belle Otero. This to me smells like a minty violet, a minty, woody, chalky kind of violet scent. Quite uplifting. It's fresh, but it's also got this woodsy violet thing going on. It's very unusual. I don't wear it too often because it's a little bit strange. It's not a mass appealing kind of scent, but I really love it. I'm a big fan of the violet note in perfume, and tinged with something, I don't think officially there's mint in here, but to me it smells minty. So it's almost like a packet of polo mints mixed up with a packet of Parma violets. And yeah, why not? I mean, imagine crunching them both together in your mouth. Yum, yum, yum. So Les Coquettes de Paris, and it's La Belle Otero. This one's actually not a perfume, but it is to me. It's Sex and the Sea Neroli Sublime Oil by Francesca Bianchi. I actually have the perfume for this on its way, so it kind of counts. It was ordered December, mid to late December. It seems to be stuck at the moment with postal service stuff. It seems to be stuck in limbo, so I'm really hoping that it will arrive very soon. So this is the body oil, and it does act like a perfume. You can wear this for about 3 hours and it smells strong enough to smell like a perfume. However, I can't wait to have the actual perfume, and I've also got Tiger Tiger by Francesca Bianchi in that same package. So they would be in this video if the postal services weren't having issues at the moment. But this oil I love. I can put it in my hair and then my hair gives off its lovely scent and it's moisturizing. So I thought I would include it in this video. Sex in the Sea Neroli it's a fresh floral with a little bit of bitterness. So it's got that sort of bitterness that you get from Neroli, but it's got more to it than that. It's got this sexy sweetness going on. It's fresh and sweet and sexy, and it's really actually quite difficult to describe, but there you go. I think I might have reviewed it. Another one that I purchased this year is, you can't see the front anymore because it's rubbed off, but it's called Grasse d'Orient by Angelos Olfactives Creations, or Angelos Creations Olfactives. I can't remember. I'll link the details below. Grasse d'Orient is a very vintage feeling floral. It's spicy, but there's a gorgeous orris note in here. It's got a really great texture to it because of that orris, but it's also got some natural vanilla and some carnation, and it's very Caron-like. If you like the perfumes by Caron, the long established heritage brand Caron perfumes, then you will absolutely need to try that one. Grasse d'Orient, love it. This is called Bean. I'm gonna do it. Shall I do it? Okay, I'm gonna do it. Just the one for you. It's Bean by And Perfumes, or And Fragrances. It's a cruelty-free brand that takes ethics and sustainability to the next level. When they launched this perfume, Bean was their first and only perfume that they launched with. The proceeds from every sale, every single penny, went out to help communities in somewhere far away. I can't remember, but every single penny of every single bottle of the first 100 bottles I think they sold went to help this community. So obviously Bean is a tonka bean fragrance. It is extremely rich. You have got to like tonka because it's like coffee and tonka, rich, but with a bit of banana unusually, and it's a natural banana, which is almost unheard of in perfumery. Don't know how they did it, but a very unusual, strong, kind of sweet, rich fragrance. Bean. Now this one I talked about quite a lot. I've reviewed it. It's called Bukhara from Gallivant. I have worn quite a lot, bearing in mind I've got about 150 perfume bottles, so that's quite a lot, and I've only had it a few months. It's musky, silky, suede-like, slightly earthy, still a bit fresh as well, clean. It's got jasmine in it, but it's not a thick, heavy jasmine. It's not really a floral scent to me. It's much more about iris and musk. Imagine iris and musk. Think of silk, think of suede, think of just a hint of spiciness, think of a grounded earthiness, and that's Bukhara, and I love it. It's one of those indescribable scents that I've always described it as an aura. You don't smell like you're wearing a perfume. You don't smell like you've got on a strong rose or jasmine or something that's overly spicy or leathery. It doesn't feel like a perfume. It feels like an aura, a glow, and I really love this one. I have included in this one bottle that I didn't purchase, but it was gifted to me by some very lovely special fragrant friends, so I am going to put it in this video. It wasn't sent to me for review, it was sent by friends, and it's Violette in Love by Parfums de Nicolai, or I think they're now just called Nicolai. Nicolai Parfumeur Createur, it says on the label there. So it was sent to me on my birthday by the lovely Scott, Sue, Lizzie and John. Thank you so much again. I really love this. Violet in Love is of course a violet perfume, but it's got some lemon and some raspberry, and I think there might be some iris, because it's kind of musky. So it's a bit of a lipstick-like feel to it, but it's a bit fresher than a typical lipsticky scent. I just love it. It's just, and it's, for me, I mean, you can see how much I've worn of it already. Again, you know, for me, I've got 150 bottles-ish, or hopefully less than that now. I haven't counted. But I've got a lot of perfume, and for me to have worn that much, it is a 30ml, but for me to have worn that much is quite a lot. This is very much an easy grab-and-go scent for me. You smell really pretty, really put together, a little bit fresh, and sort of like muskiness, cleanliness, with that gorgeous fun violet and raspberry element. A perfect scent for just chucking on for anything. I've worn this to the doctors. I wear it just to go out and buy my groceries, and my boyfriend really likes this one on me as well, so I can happily wear it around him. I know he likes it. If he can smell, we're not even going to go into it, but at the moment he can't smell, neither can he taste. Oops. So Violet in Love by Nicolai. We're down to one house, but I've got 3 bottles and 5 travel sprays. And the house is Teone Reinthal Natural Perfumery. This house is, I'd say this is the highlight of my year in terms of fragrance brands. And the first perfume I've got here is called East. This one I actually found on eBay. It don't come up very often. So when it came up for a reasonable price, obviously the fact that I was getting it from someone in Europe meant I didn't have any extra shipping costs and customs and whatnots. So I just thought I'd blindly buy it. I like the sound of the notes. It's an oriental, woody, spicy fragrance. And I think I believe there to be sandalwood, vanilla, resins. It's extremely exotic smelling. I'm thinking pirate ships or like ancient transportation of all the spices and the teas and all the very luxury items way back when, but everything being kept in dark wooden chests. So that's the feeling that I get from that. So that one was Teone Reinthal, and then the next one from the same house was the first one I bought from the brand. It's called Blue Lotus, and this one is a white floral with vanilla. Again, it's a little bit resinous. This one's very, very smooth, very balmy, very serene. I guess the Blue Lotus just lends this element of, you almost think of a still pond in a beautiful garden somewhere with flowers everywhere. But it's also got a kind of gourmand feel to me. Always makes me think of like a vanilla custard in a beautiful pastry, but you add the florals, and it almost smells soapy, but it doesn't smell soapy. It's hard to explain. It's just a very clean scent at the same time. It's not exactly a gourmand, but it teeters gourmand, and it's certainly not soapy, but it definitely feels clean, and it's very, very smooth. So yeah, Blue Lotus was a very successful blind buy from the brand. Then my favourite discovery of 2020 was Embers. Same brand, and this one, oh my, I just love it so very much. So it's made from a tincture of vanilla beans that the perfumer was gifted, I believe, or had obtained from friends. Particular special vanilla beans from was it Paraguay? I can't remember now, but these particular vanilla beans are very special, and you get from it an almost almond and an almost cherry-like feel. I always thought there was tonka, but there's no tonka in here. Tonka can bring that kind of like almond and spiciness. There's no tonka in here, but if you like tonka, I think you'll like this perfume. You'll probably think it's in there too. It's got 7.5% sandalwood, Mysore sandalwood in here, and it can go a little bit suede-like sometimes. It has all these different facets that show themselves depending on, I don't know what day of the week it is, but it never ever bores me. I absolutely love it. Embers is delicious. To me it's a gourmand. I don't know that it's supposed to be, but to me it just comes off that way because it comes off a bit like marzipan, but in the most beautiful natural way. And then I've just got my travel sizes from the same brand. I just wanted to show you. They are called scent pencils. She doesn't always offer them on the site, but leading up to Christmas she did. So I took the chance and ordered some. Ekaterina I have reviewed. This is one of my favourites from the 5 scent pencils. It's very delicate, graceful, jasmine, iris, I think it's rose as well. But for me, it's the orris note in here is just beautiful, and that's what gives it almost like a soft pastel pink suede-like feel. Makes me feel like ballet slippers. Bittersweet was only released in the last part of the year, and this feels like it's got some common elements with Embers. If you like Embers, there's a chance you'll like this, but this has sort of like orange and coffee. It definitely does have a bitter element. I find it bitter-ish to start with, like as if it's been made with 99% dark chocolate. You know how really dark chocolate is quite bitter and lacks really hardly any sweetness. It's like that, but also think of coffee, think of oranges, but then when it dries down it gets more like Embers. But it's not as, on my skin, it's not as diffusive as Embers. So Embers has a really great travel from my skin. It projects really well. This is slightly closer to the skin and slightly more compacted, slightly more dense. But I really, really like that one too. So that's Bittersweet. Then we have irises. I was very excited to be able to try irises, and that smells different to how I remember last trying it. I'm going to put this one on my skin because I kept this wrist free and I now feel inspired to wear irises. I have reviewed irises as well. I think I reviewed it with, no, I think I ended up reviewing it on its own. I did a video on iris as a note or an ingredient in perfumery, and also talked about this fragrance. So this has, I remember now, this has hyacinth in it. And I can kind of understand that. I feel like the fragrance has matured since I've last tried it because I'm getting more from it. It has a gorgeous iris note and it almost smells a bit papery, but you can smell florals, and in the dry down you get a lot of oak moss. So if you're a big fan of oak moss, it does kind of take over in the latter hours of the wearing. It's and it's almost marshmallowy, like a marshmallow that's lacking in sugar. So it's not particularly sweet, but there's a tiny bit of sweetness in here. But it's got this marshmallowy texture, like the outside of a marshmallow. Think of when you touch a marshmallow. Think of that. This perfume has that texture to it. Really, really like that. Then we have Tantra. And this one reminded me of something, and it took me a little while to put my finger on it, but it reminds me of Coromandel from Chanel. And it's not exactly the same, but it feels a similar vein. This is a beautiful, for me it's quite strong on the patchouli, but it's a gorgeous patchouli. And I had my boyfriend wear this one for me the other night, and he can't smell anything at the moment, so I could have sprayed him with anything, But I kept getting wafts of this and it's absolutely gorgeous. If you know Tafe Rose from the same brand, I feel they're in a similar ballpark. There's maybe a few ingredients in common, I don't know. I think this has rose in it as well actually, but yeah, I really like that. I probably won't reach for it quite so much simply because it's quite heavy on the patchouli to my nose, but I still like it and I'll probably spray the fella down with it every now and then. Cocobolo. And this is another really spicy, I can't remember the notes, but to me it smells a bit like tobacco, it smells like patchouli, it smells like spices, it smells like a few different gourmandy type rich ingredients. It's probably my least favourite of them all. I was mad about the notes. When I read about the notes I was going to blind buy a full bottle. I still need to get to know this one. I don't dislike it by any means, but out of all of them it was my least favourite. Maybe it's just a bit too rich. I'm not quite sure, but I'm not entirely sure my nose is working quite right myself at the moment. So, but irises smells really good. So that's it then. That's all the niche / indie purchases of this year. And look out for the next video, which is going to be on my designer purchases. Those that made the cut, those that didn't get decluttered. Do let me know, what did you purchase this year, or what were the highlights? If you don't want to list them all, what were the highlights of the fragrances that you purchased this year? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.